Right, for this lesson we're going to talk a little bit about the mixer and what it does. The mixer replicates like a big mixer that you see in recording studios, and it serves the same function primarily. Every piece of music software has some type of mixer. In theory, Reasons is not particularly complex, and if you can get your head around a few smaller elements of it, you can understand what's going on. So in the mixer, you'll see that it's broken up into various what we call channels, and these channels all take the input from one of your instruments. So here I have 3 Dr. X loop players and 1 Redrum drum computer. Every time I set those up, they configure themselves or put themselves into the various channels of the mixer. Whenever you create a new instrument, it will just plug itself into the next available channel. Each channel has exactly the same buttons and knobs and sliders, which all perform exactly the same function. So really today what we're looking at is some of the simple functions. So if I play this piece of music, I can change which elements are being heard by taking down our 4 sliders. On channel 1 we have like a drum loop. On channel 2 we have a synth playing chords. Channel 3 is a bass. On channel 4 is another drum. So I can blend these sounds however I like. If I decide I like this drum more than that drum, I might push this one down a bit in my mix and then leave that one to sound louder over on channel 4. My synth I'll bring in, and what we're doing is we're constantly listening to what sounds good to us, and we're mixing the sounds together to form something that sounds acoustically pleasing. I'm going to push my bass up now. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way those 4 things sound. These buttons here allow you to mute a certain sound so it's not heard, or the opposite of mute is to solo. And if I push this S button, which is solo, I can just hear what's playing on that one channel. I can solo out various things to hear how they sound together in my mix, or I can just drop everything back into the mix. These levels here, these buttons here, left and right, are pan. And pan is a device we use to move things from the left and right speakers. This audio is not particularly stereo on this video, so it's difficult to hear what's going on. But if we push them and you play with them, we can move the pad in this instance to the left speaker, and I'm going to leave everything else in the center of the mix. But if I had another pad playing, I might push that right. Basses and drums are generally left in the center of the mix. Our EQ is a very simple EQ and allows us, if we turn each one on, to push up certain elements of frequencies inside that instrument. So here I'm adding more bass to my drums. Here I can add more treble to my pad sounds if I click in EQ. Apart from the auxiliaries, which we'll go into at a later date, which are these red knobs up the top, that's it. And every channel is exactly the same. So if you can understand that, you understand all of Reason to this point at the moment. Here is our main fader, which deals with the amount of sound coming through the speakers. Just one thing that you need to watch out for: you never have a fader pushed up to the top, because there's nowhere for it to go. The area between the top of the fader and the top of the slider here is called headroom, and you need some headroom in order to be able to just turn things up slightly if you need to. If something's up and it's not loud enough yet, you need to pull everything else down and then pull it down as well. Because what will happen is the sounds will start to distort and you'll get a horrible sound going through your speakers. So that's the Reason mixer 14:2.